Man, I ain't gonna front. I like Gary Antoine Russell. I like the style. I like everything about the kid. Well, he's no longer a kid at 27 years old. 17-0 with 17 wins by knockout. The perfect KO ratio, 100% knockout ratio. A lot like Virgil Ortiz and Artabetta BF, but he's not garnering the clout I think he should be getting. And I think a lot of that has to do with inactivity. Of course, we got to talk about it. Now, when you mention the name Gary Antoine Russell around me, I automatically say, man, future star. Has the all of the abilities to take over 140. I think he's a tall task for anybody climbing in the ring in there with him. Not to say that these other champions doesn't have what it takes to defeat him, but I think he can make for some classic fights between some of these guys. Now, unfortunately for Gary Russell or Gary Antoine, he hasn't garnered the kind of clout that I think he deserves. With that perfect 100% KO ratio, it's not being exploited and promoted in a way that should be propelling his name throughout the sport of boxing. That's just in my opinion. When you look at a Virgil Ortiz and the hype that surrounds him and his perfect knockout ratio, or Artabetta BF, I think you can say the same thing. You can't say the same thing about Gary Antoine Russell. And then also, when you look at some of these champions, Gary Antoine Russell's 27 years old, I believe he is. Doesn't turn 28 until June, but he will be 28 this year. And you look at some of the opportunities these other guys like a Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez or even a Tank Davis early on in his career getting opportunities at these titles. You say, damn, Gary getting a little long in the tooth. It's that time. You're teetering at that point of your career where, it's now or never. You got to go full steam ahead and take advantage of some of these opportunities. But he has to actually get the opportunities. Now, he shout out Mill City Boxing. He just recently did an interview not too long ago talking about maybe getting a tune-up and going straight at one of these guys, a title eliminator or even a title shot. He's called out the likes of a Subriel, Matias. He says he wants to clean out this division, but it's just a matter of somebody giving him the opportunity. And now when you look at the landscape of 140 and you say, hey, Rolly Romero more than likely is fighting Ryan Garcia next. These guys all want big name fights. They want the big payday fights. Of course, with Devin Haney, he's not looking Gary Antoine's way, of course. He's got his sights set on either Teofimo Lopez, which I know that's who he would prefer to fight over a Matias, or a Subriel Matias, and that's just basically for unification. I don't believe if Matias had a belt, Devin wouldn't be looking his way as well. It's just not a big payday fight that Devin's trying to get. But for Subriel Matias, whom a lot feel like is the boogeyman of the division, according to his trainer, Panda. His trainer would like to see him fight Arnold Barboza next. Of course, Subriel comes out, calls out all of the champions and wants to fight the champion. So we not quite sure what he's willing to do next. But I think for anybody, if you want to make a statement at 140, giving Gary Antoine Russell an opportunity and defeating him makes a big statement, right? I'm not sure if you can make a bigger statement beating somebody undefeated with a perfect knockout ratio like a Gary Antoine Russell. And I just hate the fact that he hasn't been promoted enough so his name isn't, or his name should be circulating around the boxing world heavily. People should be pushing to want to see Gary Antoine Russell fight all of these guys, and I'm, honestly, you don't see that, and hopefully, I can help push this agenda along because I do believe Gary Antoine Russell belongs in all of these conversations. It's just gonna come down to a matter of somebody giving him an opportunity. This is somebody who's beat Jerron Booth and is 3-1 in the amateurs. So the skill level, I believe, is there. You know what I mean? Now, listen, the amateurs is the amateurs, pros is the pros, but it gives you an idea just how good some of these guys really are. And I do believe Gary Antuanne Russell is really that good. And the inactivity, right? We just seen him in August versus a Kent Cruz, but he hadn't had a fight since then, since 2022 against Rancis Bartholomew. He's beaten the likes of a Victor Postol in the same year, but not a lot of activity, which sometimes can be detrimental, and that'll keep the buzz from around your name as well. But again, according to Gary Antuanne, if he could get a little tune up, he's ready to jump right in there with one of these champions or for a title eliminator, and I think he deserves that. Some type of opportunity. I guess we got to see how this plays out. I don't see any of these current champions now at 140 giving him an opportunity right now. He just he's got to have that one name, and it's a lot like Jerron Boots Ennis, man. He had to sit on the sidelines until they gave him the belt. Nobody wanted to fight him, and I can kind of see the same thing happening with Gary Antuanne, where he is the high risk, low reward, because again, it's just not a lot of clout around that name. They're going to view him as not a big payday or not a big money fight. And is a real risk there that he could knock their ass out. So it's sort of an unfortunate situation for Gary Antuanne. But in the meantime, I think he should just be taking what fights they give them, and hopefully one of these champions who truly want to make a statement at 140, and put on maybe a class. And listen, if Styles make fights, I think between him and Gary Antuanne and Matias, I think that could be fireworks. I really believe that could go down as a straight classic. If those two were to get in there and those egos kind of let loose in the ring, I think both of them will be willing to stand and trade and give the fans some of that action that they like, or because the Russell brothers has always been versatile and in ring sharp, known for just being well-rounded fighters. It could be a wash, in my opinion. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. That's all I got for y'all on this one. I had to chime in on my guy, Gary Antuanne Russell, at 27 years old, 17-0, 17 wins by knockout. It's now or never. You know what I mean? I truly believe, in the next year or this year, hopefully he can get more than one fight and be pushing for one of these titles. All right, that's all I got, man. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Big T.O. Heavy back. Talk to him, Roger.
Most motherfuckers don't know shit about boxing.